Hey, everybody. What is going on? It is time for the Love Experience Show. I am your host, Ashley J. I am so excited to be here with you guys. And guess what? It's just me and you today. It is just me and you. So make sure you share this episode with 5 people and invite them to come and watch it live and like and subscribe the channel, okay? Because every week we come and we talk about the love experience, and you don't want to miss it. Also, I would love for you to go to my website. It's ashleyj.com. Head to the store and check out the merch that I have there for you. I got something for everybody, and I would love for you to go ahead and look at it and buy something and but just enjoy what I created for you, okay? So let's dive right in. Thank you everyone for watching. Tonight we are talking about happy wife, happy life. That is correct. That's what we're talking about today. Why are we talking about this? Because one, it was always something, a statement that I would hear, especially when my husband and I got married. It was a statement that I would hear that made me think, huh, so do I really have that much control about what happens in this house, in my marriage, in my family? That's the first thing I would think. And then the second thing I thought was, okay, so my happiness is the only thing that matters. And that's what needs to happen. He needs to make sure I'm happy. Okay, so can you see where the incorrect thinking is in those thoughts? Okay, I'm gonna tell you why. Happy wife, happy life. It does not say that everybody is happy. It says as long as the wife is happy, everybody else is going to be, their life is going to be happy. But and it's a statement that really caters towards just the woman, towards just the wife. And that's all good if that's what you want your marriage to be about. But it's unrealistic. And I'm going to tell you why. It's unrealistic because it comes from a place of insecurity. It comes from a place where you are so hard up on wanting to make sure that the wife is happy that the husband forgets about himself. Matter of fact, it almost comes across as what his desires are does not matter. And we can have a debate about this. I am all good with that. But I'm just telling you from my perspective. Okay. So, being someone now, like when I first got married, I wasn't really working with people on the level that I'm working with people now. And a lot of times now I am seeing this pattern, happy wife, happy life. I'm seeing this pattern with couples coming into couples counseling. And everything is consumed and around the wife, everything. And albeit with the wives, we do a lot. We have our hands in everything. We have our hands in raising children, making sure the family is fed, doing all of the things that we do. That's all good. But you didn't marry yourself. You married your husband. So with marrying your husband, that means he has an equal opportunity to be happy. And that means that the effort that he is putting in to make sure you're happy, guess what? You got to put the same effort in to make sure he's happy. So, happy wife, happy life is kind of, let me stay here. I'll go back to this. It is a statement that of insecurity. So why is it insecurity? Because one, um it almost sounds like someone is going to do whatever they have to do to make sure their wife is happy, neglect their own needs, and make sure that she has everything she needs, and it's okay if he's falling behind and lacking in areas that he should be making sure his needs are met in. And it's insecure because you're not taking into account um, everything that this entails. So that's like saying, let me come up with something real quick. It's like saying, as long as this one, I'm a baker, and let's say I have a bakery. I got all types of desserts and sweets and goodies, and I got this one particular thing, a great cookie that has everything in it that you would love to have. Chocolate chips, it has maybe some M&Ms, whatever, caramel, whatever is anything that's in there, right? And it's just this one cookie that is so good, and because that cookie is so good, all the rest of my stuff is good. But the rest of my desserts, if you go ahead and venture out and taste it, are trash. So because I got this one cookie, everybody is going to believe that everything I have is good. And I'm not going to sharpen my areas that are I'm challenged in to make them as good as that cookie. Does this make sense? So that is my perspective of how happy wife happy life is incorrect, because we the wife, yes, she runs the show a lot of times, but if we are going to be in a healthy marriage, then the wife has to also allow room for challenges against her. And when I say challenge, that means if something is not right in maybe something she's doing, if something is not right in how she could be raising the children, if something is not right with how she treats her husband, there should be room for challenge there. There should be room for her to hear the feedback from her husband about where she needs to grow. Tariq and I have these conversations all the time. There we have these conversations where I'm learning from him where I need to get better at. I did not go into my marriage thinking happy wife, happy life, because I was full aware that his happiness is important to me as well. So this is a joint effort. And for me to come from a place of brokenness where everything just depends on my happiness, a place of brokenness where I am just, doing up whatever it is that I want to do. When I come from a place of brokenness and want to control the way the happiness of my marriage is, then I shouldn't get married. My broken place. When you get married, you should not be a broken person and get into it expecting your partner, your husband, since we talking happy wife, happy life. You should not get into it expecting your husband to be the one to make you full, make you whole. That's not what you should do, because once you start thinking that way, then you are opening unnecessary doors in your marriage for things to start going haywire. You should, when you get married, you should come to the marriage whole. So that means doing the work before you even get into the marriage, doing the work to heal old wounds that you may have had from past relationships, daddy hurt, mommy hurt, whatever hurt. You have to start healing that, working on that before you get married, before you say I do. And then also the places inside of you where you are not aware of how you are going to be as a partner. That has to be fixed as well, because we all have these preconceived notions that we will be the perfect partner for any person. But in actuality, we have work to do. Do you really know what it means to be a partner? Do you really know what it means to be a wife? Because there's a lot in this role. A few weeks ago, you heard the conversation between myself and Sonia Rowland. We talked about what it takes to be a wife. We talked about that. We discussed it. And it's something that you should not take lightly. But you also cannot go into it with a one track mind that things are just going to happen the way it needs to happen because you are making it happen. No, you might have your hands in a lot of different pots, and there's a lot of different moving parts in your family. You might have those moving parts, but guess what? It's a joint venture. My role as wife, for me right now, the role that I play in my marriage, I play the supporter, I play the motivator, I play the lover, I play the the what is the word, intercessor. I play so many different roles, the cook, I play the housekeeper, like all of these different roles. And I'm not saying housekeeper isn't like I just have to be the one to clean. That's not how I'm saying it. But I have all of these different roles. But guess what? He has almost the same roles. My husband, he's my motivator. He's my educator sometimes. He is my encourager. He's also my intercessor. Like he has almost the same roles as me, but we both come together for the good of our family. We both work together for the good of our family. When things are off, yes, you can feel it. You can feel the offness, the unbalanced part of the marriage when we say we bump heads. And you know, you can feel it because yeah, I'm a shut down sometimes. I try not to, but I'll shut down sometimes. And he may shut down as well. So the only common denominator we have is our son. He's the one that's constantly here with us. And what we'll do is we come together to make sure he's good. And sometimes when with us working together to make sure he's good, that forces us to have conversation about what is going on. Because if you have children and you're married, then you understand that you cannot raise the child on a consistent basis without conversations between you and your spouse about how this child should be raised or what should be done for this child on a daily basis. Yeah, my son has a routine, but also in between routine, there life happens. Things happen. Sometimes we gotta go back to the drawing table and talk about how and what we should be doing different with him. And it hurts sometimes. If and I will be honest, it hurts sometimes because sometimes I may be thinking I'm being great, but then hear my husband's perspective. Hey, you could have tried this way, tried it a little differently. He may have responded differently, whatever. Hearing that, it almost makes me say, okay, I failed as a mom, but it's not. It's encouragement to try it a different way. If if my opinion on how my child is raised was the only opinion that mattered, then I would not listen and take heed to the advice that my husband gives as a father because he has a hand in how our child is raised. Guess what? We have a household we're running. So he has a hand on how the household should run as well. These are conversations that are not limited to just happy wife, happy life. Honestly, happy wife and happy life is a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure on both of us because I have to sit here if he's going to make me happy, I got to sit here and make sure that whatever he does, I'm going to be happy with. Well, that's not realistic because we're human. He is not always going to make me happy. Everything he does is not going to make me happy. That's unrealistic. And that's putting unnecessary pressure on me to make sure I stroke his ego to make him feel like I'm happy, when honestly, I'm not happy with that thing that he did. Also, it's unfair pressure on him because he has to not just work on his job, fulfill his duties as an employee, but now he is, if he's living by happy wife happy life, now he is taking on another job where he has to make sure he's a good employee for me, because that's essentially what you're doing. If you're living by happy wife happy life, you are essentially making your spouse, your husband, your employee, which means he's going to have to do pretty much everything you want him to do so that you can be happy. Is that fair? Is that fair as a wife for us to do? Is that fair? Did you put that type of pressure on people that you dated? What was the results of that? You come into marriage, you have to be happy on your own. And guess what? Also, your happiness needs to come from the Holy Spirit. It has to come from the Holy Spirit, because that's the one that's going to give you joy that you've never experienced. That's where the true happiness comes in. But you have to be the one. You have to be the one to cause your happiness. Your happiness cannot depend on somebody else, because then that happiness can be manipulated. It can be manipulated to the point where if they don't look at me a certain way, I'm not happy for the rest of the day. If they don't greet me a certain way, I'm not happy for the rest of the day. Is that fair? That's not fair to you. That brings in more mental health issues, because now I'm dependent on you for my happiness, which means I'm dependent on you for my self esteem, which means that if you are unhappy with me, then my self esteem is going to take a hit, which means I'm not going to be happy and I might go into depression. Who wants to live life like that? I don't. I have to be happy for me. I got to be happy. I have to find the happiness within. I got to let the Holy Spirit be the one to make me happy, not my husband. That's not his job. He didn't sign up to be my total happiness caretaker. He's going to help with the maintenance of keeping me happy, but he is not the one that is supposed to continue to make me happy. That's not his job, okay? So we have to stop. We have to stop this. We have to stop this. We cannot continue to live life depending on somebody else. Somebody else's happiness. Why? Why? It's not fair. It's like I said, it's pressure that nobody else should have. I can't say it any different. Like nobody else should have this type of pressure, to have the pressure that um my happiness only depends on my husband. It's his sole job. You know how unfair that is, especially especially for a black man. My husband, he works in the corporate world. Where he works, the majority of the people that work there are white. And he has a lot of pressure at work. His job can stress him out a lot of times. And am I supposed to, when he gets off work, am I supposed to invite the environment of, all right, now you got to stay on the clock? because it's time for you to make me happy. Am I supposed to do that? Is that fair to him? I should not do that. I should not do that. That's not cool. So, what I have to do is, as a wife, what I like to do is make sure that he's good. Check in with him mentally. Hey, honey, how was your day? How was it today? That's how was it today is a little different than how was your day. How was it today opens up the opportunity to have conversation. And when I ask him how was it today, he'll tell me, well, it wasn't too bad today, or he'll say, um, I don't even it's so hard. I don't even want to talk about it cuz I'm trying to calm down. That is what I do. That's what I hope that other people do. But um he he is he is not supposed to stop one job, get off the clock for one job, and then jump on another job, which is, let me make my wife happy, because if she's not happy, then my life isn't happy. That's not what he has to do. I'm strong enough with who I am to relieve him from that stress. I'm strong enough in who I am to say, okay, you can take off the cape. I don't need you to hold on to this cape. You can be vulnerable at home. You can do what you need to relax. You can, if you just want to sit down and chill, that's what we'll do. But your job is done. He carries the weight of the world on his shoulders. He carries the weight of the world on his shoulders just because of appearances, because he's black. So he has to work extra hard because he is taken advantage of at work sometimes, because people take his ideas at work sometimes. He gets thrown to the wolves at work sometimes. So yeah, you come home, you can relax. He needs to find peace. And I don't believe that peace is him continuing a job and making me happy. Does my husband want me happy? Absolutely. And I want him happy. But we don't live by happy wife, happy life. It's happy couple, happy life for us. That's not what we do. We don't He doesn't have to cater to my every need. I am secure in who I am enough for him to take the day off. Is it natural for you to want to make somebody happy, make your partner happy? Yes, natural. But don't take it to the extreme. Happy wife, happy life to me is an extreme. Don't take it to the extreme. Don't do that. What's the point? I would love to know your thoughts. What is the point of you, making your partner make you happy? So, happy wife, happy life. I Like I said, I don't think that that is something that you should do. Like, people should not live by this. I feel like it came from a place of insecurity. I feel like it came from a place where whoever started this phrase um, had to do everything they had to do to keep their wife happy, just so they didn't lose them, just so he didn't lose her. That's my honest opinion. And that's a scary place to be in, especially since this is something that has been passed on. I don't know when it started, but this is something that has been passed on for years and years and years, maybe centuries. So, I mean, really, what why should you have to live by this? Give the man a break. Find happiness within yourself. Find peace within yourself. Find it in God. Find it in the Holy Spirit. That's what you have to do. That's what you should do. Find that peace, that happiness from within. If I lived my life like this and everything that I want, all the happiness that I want only came from my husband, I would not be where I am today. And that's facts. That's straight up. Because I believe that a fear will kick in. A fear that I can't do this by myself. I need somebody to give me permission to do it. A fear that will stop me in my tracks from listening to the direction that God gives me. A fear that is going to um, keep me from flourishing. And I don't want that. That's stunting growth. I don't want that. My life is so much more than just a wife. That is my main one of my main roles, wife and mother. Those are one of my main roles. But life is so much more than that. My life means more than that. My life is important. It is. So I have to be the person to find my own happiness. Do I need to be lifted up? Yes. There are times where I do need to be lifted up. There's times where my thinking needs to be corrected. Absolutely. There are times when that has to happen. But it's not all the time. It's not something that has to be done all the time. And it comes from different sources. It can come indirectly, it can come directly from other people that I keep close to and that I allow to give them that permission to help correct me. But the job is that is on me. That is on me. And I open an environment to let them tell me. But most of the time that is on me. That's not on anybody else unless I invite you into that space. If my happiness depended on my husband, then as I said, I would not be sitting here today. I would not be continuing to have this conversation with you with few people listening. That would be such a discouragement for me. Or even that old crazy comment that I know you see on YouTube and I'm trying to figure out how to get it off. That crazy comment would have messed me up, but it didn't. I'm still sitting here 10 toes down talking to you because I have a job to do. And my happiness comes from how I fulfill the life that God has given me and getting in the direction that God is taking me, staying on track. That is where my happiness comes from. My happiness comes from at the end of the day when my son is in the bed, my family is fed, my house is clean, and I get to just be. That is where my happiness comes in. That is when I hear God telling me, you did a good job today. That's when my happiness comes into play. Even if I get reprimanded for something, that's cool too. Because now I have another opportunity. I'll have another opportunity to make it better. and be happy all over again. That is what my happiness, that's where my happiness comes in. I start the day off right, thinking happy thoughts and listening to things that will empower me, listening to old services like Miles Monroe, listening to him, and even other people that I listen to on Clubhouse, they that gives me encouragement. Listening to that, knowing that my family has made it through the night, we are safe, everybody woke up, those things, that's what makes me happy. That's how I start the day off happy. Today was a little bit of a struggle for me because I was exhausted today. The last couple of days I've been exhausted, but there's reasons why. So the day didn't start off as empowering as it normally does, but guess what? I'm cool with that because it got better. I took a nap today. I took a long nap today. I took a nap today and it refreshed me and I was happy. I got to my happiness. And I did not have to make my husband make me happy. Once I saw that my child was fed and he was good, having a good time playing, his sister came to see him today. Once I saw that, I was like, I'm going to sleep. I'm going to sleep. And I did. I took a nice long nap and I was happy during that nap. I did not have to sit here and rely on my husband to stop what he was doing, which was working, rely on him to come and make me happy. I did not have to do that. And guess what? His life was cool too. His day was cool too. He did what he had to do for work. He got to spend time with both of his kids. And we gonna spend time together in a little bit. His day was good too. He, I'm sure, is happy today. So our happiness, thanks, Unc. Our happiness um does not have to depend on our spouse. That is the point that I'm making with you to you right now. Our happiness should not have to depend on our spouse. It needs to come from within. Go into marriage whole, a whole person. You don't make marriage with two broken people and think that you come together, say your vows at the altar, and you're going to be whole. That's not how it works. Because two broken people will come in and they will continue the brokenness throughout the life of the marriage. I see it all the time. You cannot be broken and go into a marriage. Yes, you can get the help once you're in there, but my advice is be whole before you get married. That's what my advice is, because now you are not expecting someone, unrealistically expecting someone to make you happy and make you whole, because that's not their job. Their job is not to do that for you, and you're not supposed to do that for them. So get the help that you need now if you're not married now to become whole so that you can present a whole good person in your marriage, and you can do the things that you need to do on your own to make you happy. And remember that it's not your husband's job to make you happy. It's one of, like I said, he'll do maintenance to help you be happy, but it's not his sole job and purpose to make you happy. That's not it. It's not fair. Take that pressure off that man. That is not his job. And this is a thing. I'm sure if you tried to live by this when you were dating, if the guy was not making you happy, then you probably kicked him to the curb. But guess what? It's a little different once you say those vows. Marriage is not and should not be that easy to get out of. So you need to watch what you're doing and get happy on your own. Get whole on your own. That's what you need to do. So, I don't see any questions or comments. I will be back next week. And if you would like to be on the Love Experience show, please feel free to email me or DM me, and I will make this happen for you. Let's see. Remember what we talked about. Happy wife, happy life is not a thing. Okay. It should not be a thing. I'll say that. All right. Guys, your happiness matters too. Your emotional and spiritual needs and physical needs have to be met too. Don't just sit here and cater to your wife. Don't sit here and cater to your wife and neglect yourself. That's not cool. You need to take care of you as well. You need to be happy as well. It's an unfair pressure that is placed on you to have to make somebody else happy. So make sure you're getting your needs met. Make sure you're doing what you need to do to make you happy. And then you both collectively come together and make each other happy. But the happiness needs to come from within. Make her a little upset sometimes. She will be okay. At this point, you have spoiled her. If you're going by happy wife, happy wife, happy life, and a grown spoiled person is not that cool. Okay. And I know some people not gonna like what I'm saying. It's cool. I'm fine with that. But you need to take care of yourself as well. If you want to stay satisfied in your marriage, if you want to stay in love during your marriage, because that statement, I can see a lot of people falling out of love with one another after a period of doing this. Okay. So if you want to stay in love and engaged in your marriage, then go ahead and make you happy. And she provides the happiness maintenance, not soul happiness. And you need to provide happiness maintenance for her, not soul happiness, total happiness. That should not come from you. All right, y'all. So I will be back next week. I'm gonna keep the show a little short today. Um, I will be back next week with a guest, and I hope to see you there. Bring 5 people with you, and yeah, there's only one thing to say, and that is, what is your love experience? Till we chat again, y'all.